So I thought what I would do in this example is I would do the same one that we just did in the last video where we did completing the square, only now I'm going to do the quadratic formula. Okay? But it's the same one. I'll get the same answers. A is equal to 1, B is equal to -10, and C is equal to 29. And so we're going to do x is equal to negative b, so that's -10 plus or minus the square root of b, -10, squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 29. We go all over 2 times a, which is 2 times 1. And so now we're going to clean this up a little bit. -10 is just 10 plus or minus the square root of. -10 squared is -10 times -10. That's 100. And then we have -4 times 1 is -4. -4 times 29, let's see here, that's 25, 4, so that's that's 116. So it's 100 minus 116. All over 2 times 1 is 2. So now this is going to become 10 plus or minus the square root of 100 minus 116 is -16 all over 2. Okay? And so because the discriminant, we said this before, because the discriminant is negative, we know that there are going to be 2 complex solutions. Okay? And what we can do now is we can replace this with 4i, because the square root of 16 is 4, and this negative means there's an I. So we have 10 plus or minus 4i divided by 2. Okay? Now we can split them up into 2 solutions. X is equal to 10 plus 4i over 2, and x is equal to 10 minus 4i over 2. And now we can split, we want to split it up because we need it to be a plus bi form. So that's 10 over 2 plus 4 over 2i. And x is equal to 10 over 2 minus 4 over 2i. And lastly, x is equal, well, 10 over 2 is 5, plus 4 over 2 is 2i. So 5 plus 2i. And then x is equal to 10 over 2 is 5, minus 4 over 2 is 2i. Okay? And so these are the same answers that we got in the last video when we did completing the square. So it doesn't matter whether you use completing the square or the quadratic formula. Okay, I'll do one more example to wrap up this, this particular lesson. All right, so we've got this one here, 7x squared plus 14x plus 7 is equal to 0. And since the lead coefficient is not 1, the middle term is even, so that would be nice. But we're going to go ahead with the quadratic formula here. So we have a is equal to 7, b is equal to 14, and c is equal to 7. Okay. By the way, this particular problem is there's actually an easier way to turn this into an easy solution problem. And if you want to try it, you can. Like I told you, there are like a dozen or 2 varying techniques for solving quadratic equations. So if you're a highly capable person, you may want to try something different. But if you're still getting your feet wet with solving quadratics, you may as well just stick with the quadratic formula or stick with completing the square. But really, the quadratic formula works every time. So we're going to say x is equal to -b. b is 14, so -14 plus or minus the square root of b, 14, squared minus 4 times a, which is 7, times c, which is also 7, all over 2a, which is 2 times 7. Clean it up a little bit. X is equal to -14 plus or minus the square root. 14 squared is 196 minus 7 times 7 is 49. 49 times 4 is 49, then 98, then another 98. It's 196 again. Okay, that's good. That makes things real easy. So we got 196 minus 196. It's going to be 0. 2 times 7 is 14. Okay? And so this gives us -14 plus or minus the square root of 0 over 14. Well, that's easy. So because our discriminant is 0, there's only one solution, one real solution. We won't have 2 answers. We're just going to have one answer. In fact, what is that answer? Well, it's -14 plus 0 is -14 minus 0 is negative 14. So the 0 just cancels, and it's negative 14 over 14, which is negative 1. And so our solution is x is equal to negative 1. One real solution, one real easy solution, and we're done with quadratic equations.